In today's video, we'll look at a series of metrics that are important to consider when designing your marketing and sales activities and campaigns. Keep in mind, however, that the following data is not an exhaustive list. If there are other metrics that you value and want to use, please make sure you capture them. A good sales analysis begins with a review of the number of active customers, total revenue, profit, and revenue per customer. For this analysis, an active customer is a person or an organization with whom you've done business in the past 12 months. You should measure these numbers comparing this year's results relative to your prior year results and projections for the future. Are there surprising changes, either good or bad, that you don't recognize but didn't truly acknowledge until you saw it in black and white on paper? If so, what's impacting this change and how will it affect you in the future? Now, let's look at your sales cycle. In this set, there are some numbers that you should be projecting on a regular basis, including new prospects required and anticipated repeat customers. Compare that to the number of prospects in your system. What's the number of new prospects required for next year's sales projections? How many repeat customers are required for next year's projections? As of today, how many prospects do you have in your system? What percentage of your prospects do you anticipate will convert to actual sales? And finally, what's the length of your sales cycle in days? Let's consider the percentage of revenue generated by your top 2 or 3 customers. What about the top 20% of customers and those customers who have been with you more than a year? Calculating these numbers can help you understand if a few great customers are driving revenue to your business and how that dependence on a limited number of customers impacts your business practices and marketing and sales tactics. You've probably heard of the 80-20 rule. 80% of your business comes from 20% of customers. Well, while this isn't always true, quite often it's close. How do your numbers compare? What do they say about your business? And is your dependence on a limited number of organizations simply too high? Can you change this? Since the more you depend on a limited customer base, the greater your risk if this base disappears. What can you do to further service your group or to expand your outreach? Next, let's look at your product mix and determine what revenue and profit look like over time. Analyzing these numbers and comparing last year's results to current year and next year's projections will help you determine if the mix is accurate. You might want to compare these results to your target market mix. How are purchases from different target markets changing over time? What are the implications to your plan? Now, you need to break down the various marketing tools and tactics that you have or will deploy and study what you achieve from each one. Realistically, not every tactic will produce direct results, but it's important to review each to ensure they're making a contribution to revenue, even if indirect, and the number of clients you're able to generate is there. When I ask entrepreneurs to complete this, they usually find it enlightening, since they might not have realized how some of these tactics have very powerful impacts on their revenue, while others, which they had spent a lot of money on, had almost no impact. Here are methods you might consider using for your marketing campaign. I realize this is a large list, and you shouldn't consider doing all of them. You need to listen to your customers and determine which methods are most appropriate for you. Where do your customers look for the solutions that you offer? Your campaign should have a message that represents your big idea. Basically, the big idea is your campaign theme. It creates an identity for your brand, positions it amongst competitors, makes it distinctive, holds your audience's interest, defines the look and feel of your brand, and relates the value of the brand as experienced by your customers. Now, let's look at measures of brand success, because understanding how to measure this is very important. You want to see that customers or prospects do the following things. Look for or used a special offer, praised or recommended your product, visited your web page or social media site like Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, looked up reviews about your brand online, or even better yet, post your reviews about your brand. And finally, gave advice about your brand, online and offline. Offline is known as word of mouth, and that can be tracked by asking customers how they found you. Finally, let's talk about the metrics for digital or virtual success. There are many to review, so here are a few to consider. First, engagement rates. These are metrics like views, clicks, comments, and duration of your customers' engagement by campaign, by content, platform, day of week, or even time of day. Share or amplification rates include the number of people who share, like, tweet, retweet, pin, link, and basically mention your comment throughout their own networks. This can also be analyzed by platform, by content, day of week, or time of day. Your reach is the number of impressions by campaign, content, items, or platform. Volume and sentiment about online conversations about your company and brand measure how positively or negatively people are talking about you. You might also look at the traffic generated by source, campaign, or even content. And of course, don't forget conversion rates, which is all about action. This includes things like new fans or followers, clicks, content downloads, contest entries, newsletter signups, qualified leads, and, of course, sales. These should also be tracked by campaign, platform, time of day, day of week, or any other metric that's important. In summary, there are many measurements that you can make to benchmark results. I hope the amount of information hasn't scared you. I realize it's quite extensive. Clearly, the list is by no means complete, but I hope that you find it a good starting point to think about how you'll measure the impact of your marketing campaign before you launch it. At the end of the day, what's most critical to your business is generating revenue and profit by customer, product, and marketing tactic. Remember, this is an ongoing and iterative process that you must do on a regular basis, as often as quarterly or monthly, depending on your business. You should benchmark your results and performance over time so you can adjust your marketing plan and business roadmap based on data and not just a gut instinct about what's working.